Welcome to the News at 10. I am Amarachi Ubani. We begin tonight from Adamawa State, northeast of Nigeria, where the campaign for violence-free elections has been taken to the residents. The new Partnership for Africa's Development is spearheading the campaign in collaboration with some civil society groups, political parties, security agencies, and the media. The residents are advised to use the 2019 elections to elect credible leaders without resorting to violence.
It has been observed by African leaders that electoral violence is one of the greatest causes of political instability and violence in the society, thereby impacting negatively on governance agenda. The social and economic costs during elections have become massive and continues to stunt development. It is for this reason members of civil society organizations, security personnel, political parties in Adamawa State and the media converge on the police roundabout in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, for a rally to sensitize residents on the need for a violence-free general election in 2019. The national coordinator of NEPAD, Mrs. Gloria Akobundu, explains the aim of the sensitization exercise, which is to ensure violence-free general elections devoid of vote buying, ballot box snatching, hate speeches and fake news.
Let us be reminded at this junction that we need a people-oriented fight with institutional reforms and joint efforts of the media, security agencies, traditional rulers, INEC youths, women, men, among others, to say no to election violence in our dear country.
Some participants make their contributions on the need for violence-free general elections in the country.
Let Nigeria be first before any other person. Whoever emerges, whether from Niger Delta, from Yola, from Katsina, he is still a Nigerian. And nothing can change him except if he comes into the power in an illegal way.
If we want our politicking to be recognized by international communities, we have to show drug abuse and its attendant consequences.
The secretary to the government of Adamawa State explains the position of the government on the 2019 general elections.
These elections, as far as we are concerned, is not a do-or-die affair. Anywhere we go to, we follow the model that NEPAD has put on the papers. Peaceful, fair, and in due process conduct of elections.
NEPAD is a framework aimed at developing an integrated socio-economic development of Africa. And it is for this reason that violence-free elections in Northeast remains a priority for the organization.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has advocated religious tolerance among all Nigerians as a prerequisite for the country's socio-economic and political development. Professor Osinbajo was speaking at the 66th edition of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat religious event in Ilaro, Yewa South, local government area of Ogun State, where he was the special guest of honor. He commended members of the religious group for promoting peace and unity among Nigerians and the people of the world. The Vice President also singled out traditional rulers for their support for government policies and programs.
Our country is one where many times people want to create division. They want to create division between Muslims and Christians. They want to create division between tribes. They want to create division between different people. But God sees us as one. He does not see us as tribes. He sees us all as one people. And I want to thank you in particular because you have continued to preach that message of unity. You have continued to preach that message of peace. And at this particular event, this 66th anniversary of the Jalsa Salana, I want to say especially that what I will leave with you is that our country can be great and will be greater because of people like you who are here.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Meanwhile, South-South leaders of the People's Democratic Party have constituted the party's Presidential Campaign Council to spearhead efforts in the region ahead of next year's elections. The council was constituted at a meeting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital, with party leaders insisting the region is PDP and will remain so. Governor Nyesom Wike, who spoke on behalf of the group, explained that modalities have been set to ensure the party's success in governorship, National Assembly and State Assembly elections in 2019.
We have met here today to look at issues as affects the People's Democratic Party, and we have decided as a zone to work together and make sure that PDP triumphs in the 2019 general election. We have taken steps to see how we're going to set up the Presidential Campaign Council in the South-South, and then a date for the Presidential Campaign rally. You all know that PDP is a stronghold, the South-South is a stronghold of the PDP, and we want to retain that. Every state in the PDP, in the South-South, must continue to be a PDP state. And so we're happy that our people turn out en masse to see that we work at the modalities on the success of our party for the governorship election, for the National Assembly election, for the State Assembly election, and the presidential election.
Staying with more politics, Nigeria's 91 political parties must bear in mind they have a legally binding threshold of performance to meet in next year's general election if they're not to be deregistered. That's according to the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, who cites an amendment to the law already assented to by President Buhari. He told Channels Television's Ladi Akeredolu-Ale on our political program Roadmap 2019 that the culture of promoting so many parties would thus be sanitized.
If you field a candidate for president as a party, if you are at liberty not to run in any election, so you can remain as a political party so long as you don't run in any election. But if you make the mistake of fielding a candidate for presidential election, if you don't get 25% of the vote cast in at least one state, that party will be deregistered. And then if you make the mistake of fielding a candidate for gubernatorial election, and you don't win at least one local government, that party will be registered. And if you run for local government election and you do not win one ward, that means you don't have one councillor in that election. That's the end of their political party. And if you run for Senate or House of Representatives or for State Assembly, and of course you do not win any ward, that's the end of your political party. So we believe that at the end of this exercise in 2019, these political parties you are seeing will drop to not more than 5. So it's one of the key things provided that we'll be able to provide for under this current constitutional amendment. And I think it's something that will help to bring some sanity in the number of political parties who keep promoting Nigeria.
You can watch the full interview with Senator Ekweremadu on Roadmap 2019. It airs right here on Channels Television, Monday, December 17th at 9 p.m. Politicians wishing to engage the services of thugs during the electioneering campaigns may be in for a hard time, as Inspector General of Police has issued a riot act to all party members to conduct their campaigns peacefully throughout the country. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Force Public Relations Officer, Mr. Jimoh Moshood, says the Inspector General has directed all commissioners of police to arrest and prosecute any party member or supporter in possession of firearms or dangerous weapons during political campaigns and rallies.
The force will not tolerate any forms of political thuggery, intimidation, demonstration of violent conduct, and over-dramatization by political fans that can precipitate political clashes or jeopardize prevailing peace in any state from any political party or politician. The force will not also condone hate speeches, indecent and discriminatory defamatory conduct from any individuals or group or any political parties or affiliates or allies that can cause threat to public peace and safety anywhere in the country during the campaigns and beyond. The full weight of the law will be applied on any individual or group so arrested. Commissioner of Police are to effect arrest and immediately prosecute any party member or supporters in possession of firearms or dangerous weapons during the political campaigns and rally in their respective states.
To security matters now. Today's attack by the Boko Haram in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, which left one soldier dead, is another clog in the wheel of the federal government's objective of defeating the sect. This attack comes just a day after President Muhammadu Buhari rallied support to tackle terrorism in Abuja. In this next report, our correspondent, Oluwaseun examines the weight of the defiance of the insurgents, especially as the 2019 elections draw nearer.
The time has come for the evil of Boko Haram to be brought to a definitive end. This is a fight to the finish. We must and we will, by the grace of God, wipe out terrorism from our sub-region.
When President Muhammadu Buhari made this statement to wipe out Boko Haram, the hope was that to send enough fear into the insurgents to deter them from further attacks on the Nigerian state and its environs. But it seems all it did was to fuel the courage of the sect, as just a day after the remark, an attack was launched in the northeast state of Borno, a move that resulted in the death of a Nigerian soldier. With the recent deaths recorded by the military also in Borno State, this is another dampener to the morale of those soldiers, which is in desperate need of a boost. A worrisome tactic employed by the attackers was to disguise as relief workers, leaving the military with another ploy to tackle. With the general election just around the corner, there is the question of how the federal government can contain the onslaught so it does not affect the polls. Because, according to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, there is a slim chance this might happen if the security challenge is not brought under control.
The only area where we have taken some notice of is the provision of Section 26 of the Electoral Act, which says that in the event of violence or natural disaster, INEC may suspend the election. And where the total number of registered voters in the area where election is suspended will make a difference between the margin of lead, then INEC should now make arrangement to rerun the elections.
The longer the battle against insurgency lingers, the less optimistic people become about winning this war. So if there was a period the federal government needed to pull its weight in this fight, there may be no better time than now. Oluwaseun, Channels Television News.